but to minister and to give his life for ransom. I'm coming out of Mark 10:45. My scripture reading will be Luke 24:25 through 27, 44 through 49. Beloved Father, in the name of Jesus, we surely praise you. There's so much we need you to help us to say yes. Hallelujah. When we want to say no. In the name of Jesus, we declare that you are our shepherd, and we shall not want. And now, Lord, your spirit hath free course in this place, this day and forevermore. In Jesus' name. Amen. You may be seated. But Jesus preached concerning his death. I want to preach Jesus' death. There had another message from me. I said, let us talk about Jesus. Because he's been so good to us all. He has reigned on the unjust as he goes to just. And I praise him for it. Says I love the Lord because you can't love nobody until you bond with them. Until you really get to know them. You can say, oh, I really love Prophetess Roxy. You may love the way she acts and the way she conducts herself. But you don't really love her to know her. And that's the way it is with God. But I know him in my suffering. Not in my hallelujah times. I knew him when I was down and out.
Amen.
Yes. And that's how I knew him. I knew that his words came alive in me, but I won't leave you, nor will I forsake you. I knew him then, because mother and all else was gone. I had no people here. Nobody but you, Lord. And I didn't know at that time that he was more than the world. I didn't know at that time. I need him to help me to say yes.
Yes, Jesus.
And as I lie in that dark room all by myself, I didn't realize I wasn't by myself. I lied in a room where nobody knew me, and they had forgotten me. They had left the things in my veins. And I was getting nothing but air, and they had actually forgotten that they had put me in the room at Grand Hospital. And the room was dark. And some people came in the room. And they said, oh, there's somebody in here. And they turned on the light, and the lady seen that my arm was swollen and that I was getting air, and she ran out. I said, that was an angel of the Lord.
Yes.
Now, we all haven't had the same experiences. So that's why he's given us every man a measure of faith.
Yes.
Because when you think that you suffer with Christ, you took time out to enjoy yourself. I didn't have the money, the means, or nothing else to do such thing as what you do. To me, it's a new area. Because I had to go and knock on doors for food at 12 o'clock at night. You didn't have to do that. Amen.
Amen.
And when you look at a person and you feel as though that they look like they've never suffered, that's the one that has suffered.
Right.
And so when God put you over people, he put you over people that need to know what it means to suffer. It don't mean you suffer. You need to know the means of suffering, the means of sacrificing, not the means of you going because this is where you want to go. That is not suffering. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. I had to see to it that my children was taken care of. I didn't have money for babysitters. I didn't have a mama or daddy or uncle or cousin up here. But he had brought me to a desolate land in my walk. You can be in a place and yet be in a desolate land because you don't know anybody. But I get happy when I look back over my life and I think things over. You know, when you got something to look back over your life for that's worthwhile, that's going to awaken another cell in your brain, you go to another level in God. And I said, Lord, that was you even then. Many things I've done that people thought I knew, they didn't know God enough to give me the credit. People tell me things now, Roxanne, like a lot of y'all tell me things when you're sitting around. I don't remember. Because God did it. God uses a vessel that will say yes to his will, yes to his way, because his way is not our way. Amen. Amen. And I look at my grandson and I see so much in him that he doesn't see. It makes me think of myself. He doesn't see it. He's walking around with gold slippers on and don't even know it. Amen. Amen. But one thing that I like about him that he did take after me. And can't nobody tell me that he didn't because y'all are so suicidal. Amen. He won't take down off of what he believes in. He won't take down. He'll say, well, Grandma, I just can't do that. And I look at him, I get ticked up on the inside because I see myself. Some people are giving me anything. But a Christian is not going to give me anything. Thank you, Jesus. And I praise God for that. Because you got to learn how to lean and to depend on Jesus. That's the one that you learn to lean on. You don't lean on your paycheck. Amen. Oh, no, you don't. Amen. Because the paycheck runs out. Matter of fact, they run out as soon as you make them. If you would, you'd have to pay tithing and offering out of it. I know. But I thought about Isaiah, and I said, he said, Lord, I'm a man of unclean lips. And you're asking for somebody to say yes. Hallelujah. I want to say yes, but I know I'm not prepared to say yes. But I believe you can help me. God read his heart. God is reading a lot of our hearts in here today. You hear what I'm saying? God is reading a lot of our hearts today. A lot of you have read different books and dived over into different avenues of man's doctrine and man's made doctrine until you need the Lord to help you to say yes. Amen. You've read so much and seen so much of what you read until you need the Lord to help you to say yes. But that's why the Lord is calling his people back, Evangelist Knox. He's calling them to come home. We've been battered enough out here. Our brains has been whipped. Our hearts has been stoned. And we got to come home. And we got to allow God to have free course in our life. I just wanted to say that to you today. That many things, if I would give you my life's testimony, it would be as long as I am old. So I won't do that to you. You know, Yolanda, I won't do that. because he's been so good to me.
Yes.
God has been good to me when I wasn't good to myself.
Amen.
You hear what I'm saying?
Yes.
The greatest choice you'll ever make is serving God. The greatest choice you'll ever make is stop allowing yourself to be influenced by kinfolk. Friendship. If you can cut, you know how they say if you could just cut out your snacks at night, you'll lose weight? That's true. That's very true. But if you could cut off some of them that are not wanting God and not wanting to live by God, if you could cut them off and give God an opportunity to let him to see why you cut them off. Hallelujah. You'll draw them nigh to God. But you will never draw them as long as you're being God to them. This is a word from the Lord. You will never draw. They'll draw you first. You're in the backslid and don't even know you backslid. I have folks that are saying yes to the Lord right today, and they don't even know where they are. They're sitting outside of the gate. Right in here. Simply because you're hard of hearing. You're listening, but you're not hearing. There's a difference in listening at what I'm saying and hearing what I'm saying. He said if you're going to be a hearer, be a doer.
That's right.
If you heard what your leader said, you're going to be a doer. But if you don't trust me, if you think I'm trying to hurt you, God didn't take me away from my family for 7 years for me not to be able to tell you something. There was one sitting right there behind you, my niece. She was staunch Baptist. Her mother was staunch Baptist. And she would call me long distance and try to minister to me on things. And the Lord tore up the tape, she said to me. The tape actually tore up Deacon Hendricks. The Lord said, don't send that mess to my servant. And she ended up coming. Both sides of my family ended up coming to the Lord with the results of me not fooling with them. And I have them here as witnesses. She'll tell you, I didn't get involved with nothing they did. I didn't get involved with no family reunion. That's my family. No, the ones that do the will of my Father is my family. You got to stick with that. Because family will bring you down. Because that's the closest thing to you. You love them. And ain't nothing wrong with you loving them. But you got to learn how to love. Some folk you got to love at a distance. Amen. Glory to God. So I'm saying to you today, have an ear, oh my people, said the Lord. Just have an ear. You know, if you never tried it, try it once and don't knock it until you try it. Don't get involved in something that's going to cause you to be partakers of another man's sin. Just to be with those type of people that dishonor God, you dishonor him also. And when you said, I love the Lord, you're lying to yourself. You're not lying to God because he knows. But you don't be partaker. Let them miss you from being so easily influenced. You run every time they run. Let them miss you. Now I can stand here and say that I got the victory in my stand. In Jesus Christ. Because I'm still flat-footed, let them know I'm not partaking with this mess. Because I am on the Lord's side. I'm not on your side. I'm on the Lord's side. You understand what that means? To be on the Lord's side is just what Elijah told him. If they'll be your God, then you serve it. But you can't run backwards and forward.
That's right.
I'm telling you what's God's word, Brother Paul. Now here God comes and this is what he's preaching. He's not preaching about Peter and Paul like we do every Sunday or maybe every Monday or Saturday. But he's preaching about himself. He wants you to know about him. He wants you to be persuaded by your own mind. So just in case there was somebody in here that didn't know the ransom that he paid for many. He has to get his quota. And those of us that believe in him and that love him, we got to help him get that quota.
Amen.
That's just like soliciting for somebody that's in politics. You go and hustle up as many people as you can to vote for him or her. That's the way you do with God. You have got to realize that we are just pilgrims and we're just passing through. And so he's telling them about his life and what life really is. Life is not what you people in here think it is. Let me get your sound mind. That's not life. That's not life. Do you hear me? Your life is hid in Christ. Life is not you worrying about who like you or who don't like you. That's not life. Life is not how many clothes you got, how many shoes you got, how much hair you got, how many teeth you got in your mouth. That's not life.
Oh, glory.
He said, I come that you may have life. And then I want you to have it abundantly. In other words, I want you to have it forevermore. I want you to be a perpetual membership, not on and on. Somebody said, when I said, how much do you love God? Somebody said, I've been faithful. Too many people can't say they've been faithful. God said, if you're faithful over a few things, then I'll make you ruler over many. Does that mean anything to any of us today?
Yes. Amen.
But I want to tell you what he preached concerning his death. He let them know that what he had come for. Now, when you let people know what you're here for, that should settle a lot of things in your life of them expecting you to do certain things that's not in agreement with God. Because you've already made your definition of purpose. And he had a song out, I don't know what you come to do, but I come to praise the Lord. He was making a definite purpose. My purpose of being here is not for you, but it's to praise the Lord. Said I come to lift him up. That's what I come for. Well, that's what Jesus is telling us. What he came for. Now, in order for you to understand what I'm going to say to you, you first got to see that he made it plain what he came for. You got to make it plain what you came for. You can't be down here and up here and down here and up, and then say you're faithful.
Amen. All right.
See, you're messing with your own mind. That's not faithful. Are you are you up with me now?
Yes.
This is not a long message, but it's a long understanding. Jesus' death-related events take up from 1/4 to 2/3 of the space in the gospel. And those of you that are mathematicians or accountants, you know about how much that is. I know. This shows how important his death seemed to writers. He was an important man. He made a difference because he was different. That's when you make a difference, is when you're different. When you can stand up and tell somebody what your definition of purpose is, they don't ask you to go to no party. Right. Amen. They don't tell you, well, it ain't no blues in it, just a little jazz. Paul gave much space to the death of Christ. He seen him in a greater light, didn't he?
Yes.
Because God had to slap him in some sense in his head.
Yes, he did.
Help me to say yes, Lord.
Yes.
What place did Jesus' own death hold in your mind? What does it hold in your mind? Because just to think on his death and his burial and his resurrection is enough to take you from earth to heaven.
Yes.
It's enough to convince you that he came here for us. He came here, he brought us here, and he's coming back to pick us up, Mother. Isn't that all right? Amen. But he brought us here for a purpose. You ought to want to know what your purpose is. What did he bring me here for?
Amen.
He didn't bring us as far to leave us, did he? He brought us to, so he could pick us up again. Hallelujah. What about your death? Have you made preparation for your death? Or are you expecting somebody else to make preparation for it? Are you expecting, oh, they'll just throw me in the ground or just burn me? Well, you're going to burn anyhow if you're not living right, but why not prepare? Why you have a chance? Hallelujah. How much space have you given for it? How much space have you given for it? I know you're saying, oh, this is a sad message. It's not. It's a knowledgeable message. It's a message that's going to teach you something today on how to prepare to love God because of his death, his burial, and his resurrection. Hallelujah. In his early ministry, Jesus did not emphasize his death as much as later. We don't either, do we? We just shout and jump. We have a honeymoon when we first get saved. We clap our hands, we hug everybody. We don't care how stinking they are, how dirty they are, we just hug until the honeymoon is over. And then you find yourself being picky about whose hand you shake. I used to have a very, very, very touchy habit with men. I said, because men don't wash their hands when they go to the bathroom. So I didn't feel particular about shaking their hands. But then later on in life, I found out a lot of women don't either. I mean, I also experienced this. I actually experienced it by being present. This was necessarily so, and early emphasis would have confused the disciples had he come out telling them about his death, wouldn't it? It would confuse us too, wouldn't it? Yes. Hallelujah. He did not want to confuse anyone. He made sure that he made his calling and election sure. That's what he wants us to do. Make our calling and election. I don't expect nobody to walk up to me and ask me to go to no parties, go to a crummy family reunion where they're drinking and partying. You understand it? Right. Now they're safe family reunion. That's totally different. But don't come mismatching me. All right. Don't mismatch me. Now I ain't going out on the road against God just to mismatch with some family that ain't living nothing. Right. And that's not afraid of God. If you're not afraid of God, you ain't afraid of nothing. Right. God said, fear me and keep my commandments. You better do it. They had to first come to know and experience his divine character. That's the first thing they had to learn about him. His divine character. That was the first thing he wanted them to know. Hallelujah. There is clear evidence that from the beginning of his ministry, Jesus knew he would have to die. How about you? Young people want to leave the church because they want to live it up. They don't know they're going to their death. They don't know that. They don't know they can walk out the church and meet their death because they want to live it up. Well, you're not living, young people. You're not living. Don't let the devil win you over. Don't let your flesh win you over to make you think that you're living because you want to go to a party. You want to go to prom night. And prom night, they done prepared to do everything to you. That's one of the worst nightmares of a young person's life. And that's one of the ones that they really live for. It's their prom night. A lot of young people said, make it out of their prom night. But he didn't talk about his death there. He said, when you began your ministry, did you prepare a space and a place for your death? Did you prepare a place or a space for your death? I got a long distance phone call the other day. One of the students that I had helped along the way that's pastoring now asked me, what did they do with Joseph's bones? My mind was not on Joseph's bones. Did they put them in the tabernacle, in the Ark of the Covenant? I said, they ain't put no Joseph bones in the Ark of the Covenant. But my mind is not on no bones right now. I just told him like it was, Joseph. It wasn't. I don't know where his bones is at. I called Minister Karen. I said, Karen, do you know what they did to Joseph? She said, Chief, I'll find it for you. I said, please, because I ain't got time. She's looking for what they did to Joseph. You see how some people will swallow a camel and what did Joseph Bone have to do with the Ark of the Covenant? Now, where they was reading that, but Karen called me back, where they was reading that was right in the next verse. Do you fully understand his baptism? Did you understand your baptism? Did you realize that you made a covenant when you went down in the water? Did you know that that was a type of burial? They buried him first. He demonstrated the natural earthly baptism and resurrection. He went down first. In order for us to know to go down first. But everybody goes down, they don't understand why they're going down. Once you've been buried in him, you can't rise up to walk in your flesh no more. Right, yeah. Oh, hallelujah, Jesus. Hallelujah. You can't get up and say that I know where I'm going and I know what I'm doing. No, not if you're buried in his baptism. Colossians would tell you that too. All right. Hallelujah. But I just want to preach to you a little while. I want to let you know that what you think you know, you don't know. The things you think you're doing is not of God. And I'm here to set the record straight that it's not of God, because I don't want to see you lost. I want you to make it to heaven. But when you went down in that water, you made a covenant to God that you were going to be buried with him. And then when you rose up, you said, I'm going to rise with you. I'm going to rise in your likeness, not in my likeness. I'm coming up different than what I did when I went down. I'm not going to be defiant, disobedient, rebellious. I buried that. It's dead. Hallelujah. I am a new creation now. He said, if any man be in Christ. I see why he said if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. He's a new creation because he starts growing spiritually. And when God looks at him, he's looking for his image. He said, because the way I made you in my image. I'm not looking to see you the way you are. I'm looking for my image. Hallelujah. Glory to God. I'm looking to see that as I suffer, have you armed yourself likewise? Or are you complaining about it's too much church? Or it's too long of a preaching? What are you complaining about? Hallelujah. My, that's that Cain's mentality. Because Cain was angry and he was defiant. Because God accepted Abel's offering over his. God looked at him. He said, why have your face changed? Why are you looking like that? You know, some people look at you, they're frowning up like you done said something that would murder them. And I ask some of you that, what's the matter with you? Like I done said some strange thing. Glory to God. But listen, he said, I see sin crouching at the door right now in your life. It's waiting to leap right now. And that's the way it is with many of us. We get in that place where we allow sin to take over. And we don't even know. When we say, amen, hallelujah, hallelujah. That's a spirit of mockery. Because God tells you to search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, but the end thereof is destruction. Listen, saints, this is real as you sitting in that pew. If you believe that's Sister Delisa sitting on this end of the pew, and that's Brother Reed sitting over here in this end of the pew, you ought to believe that it's a reality in serving a truth and a living God. Yes. Hallelujah. God don't play either. I want to tell you that. Amen. So he said, do you fully understand Matthew 3:13 through 17? Baptism is a picture of death and resurrection. That's the picture you're seeing. And you got witnesses that's witnessing against you because they see you go down in his name. And when you rose up playing the harmony. You raised up dancing by the piper's music. You raised up listening to, what's the guy's name? J.S. and J.C. and Beyonce and everybody else that was not of God. You gave a listening ear. And God has told you to have your ears circumcised.
Right.
Hallelujah. Your ears are supposed to be circumcised to holiness. Young people, you're not supposed to be listening to nothing else but the gospel.
Amen.
But the gospel. When you hear something else, you got a mixture in your head for destruction. The baptism is a picture of death and resurrection. Jesus was dedicating himself to a ministry that would culminate in death and resurrection. We baptize because you're saying that you're going to live a life of death. I had a preacher to tell me that they didn't want to preach. They was going to give it up in 5 years because pastors die early. And that's true. According to the census, when you look at me like that. But they didn't know that they went down to baptism for that reason. That our life is supposed to culminate in death. Just as Christ is. And I know you didn't think of that. But that's what it's all about. Oh, this is killing me. I just can't take it. And you say that guy will slap some more on you. Oh, you still talking. You ain't dead. You ain't got no business talking. So dead, you can't take it, huh? Bam, something else happened. You gotta just keep coming after me like rain. I just can't take it. Don't say it no more. God don't say it no more. Don't never say what you can't take.
Amen.
Especially if you've been baptized in Jesus' name.
Yes.
Okay? You've been down in Jesus' name? Well, I want to make it plain to you today what you did. So that if you want to undo it, you can undo it today. And stop living destruction. But when you went down in his name, you belong to him. You don't belong to yourself. And whatever your leaders say for you to do that Christ said for you to do, you're to do it. And you're not supposed to complain about it.
That's right.
Boy, it's killing me. I'm saying yes, but it's killing me. I know the day now you're going to start remembering the day. You know you ain't dead. I know the day if somebody would have said that to me. Well, God's going to have me to ask you to do something else. So you can stop remembering the day. Oh, glory to God. Hallelujah. He said Jesus was dedicating himself to a ministry that would culminate in death and resurrection. The voice of the Father saying, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." Now, it pleased him to bruise his own son. And we can't stand for our hard-headed young'uns to get chastised. You ready to go see the teacher? You can't do nothing with him. Let the teacher beat the fool out of him. You ain't gonna beat him. I'm going out there and see this teacher in the morning. I'm getting my things ready because I'm gonna give her a piece of my mind. You're really supposed to be giving her a piece of the gospel, not a piece of your mind. Because you don't know what that teacher may do to you and your kids. They beat the fool out of both of y'all. Combining Psalms 2 and 7 and Isaiah 42 and 1 to designate Jesus as his beloved Son of God and the servant of Jehovah. He is now fulfilling all righteousness, publicly declaring his purpose to die and rise again. Oh my God, I think that's so bold of Jesus to be able to talk about his death and his burial and his resurrection. Yeah, you go ahead and nail the nails. I want you to nail them. I'm provoking you to nail them. Because the kingdom of God has suffered violence. The violence is going to take it by force. And you go ahead on and nail them. Hallelujah. Go on and put the thing on my head. Do all you can do. He said, but I'm going to rise again. Hallelujah. He was fulfilling his purpose. He was letting them know that this is the culmination of my purpose for being here on earth. I didn't come here for you to rub me down. I didn't come here for you to lay hands on me and heal me. But I come that I might die and that I may come again. I come not to be ministered to, but I come to minister. Hallelujah. Glory to God. That's why I tell the elders, when you get filled with the Holy Spirit and you get it the way the Bible says, you got no business in no prayer line. You ought to be ready to help somebody else. Hallelujah. Glory to God. You shouldn't always be running up on somebody to lay hands on you because you don't know what they got in their hands. You may go away worse than what you were before you came. Glory to God, my God. That's why I tell you that you got an affliction upon you. That's pray for yourself. There is an affliction that you have upon you. You pray for yourself. You do the Hezekiah prayer. You got plenty of folk that you can look at in the Bible. You look at that maybe what you got, God is keeping you to where you ought to be. Yeah, like he told Paul, don't you ask me no more, because my grace is sufficient. It's sufficient for what I called you to do. You can use my grace to finish your course. Hallelujah. That's what you got to learn to live with some things that God has allowed to be put upon you. That you are not, oh my. You're not exempted from having a headache. You're not exempted from having sugar diabetes, high blood pressure. But it's to teach you how to care for yourself. Because if you love yourself, you're going to care for yourself. Because there's somewhere down the line you didn't follow obedience. You was hard-headed in what was told to you. And now you got to follow another lineage of obedience.
All right, yes, Lord.
All right. Hallelujah. I don't know, I've been asking the Lord to heal me of this thing, and they're going in. But publicly, he was declaring his purpose to die and rise again. Are you declaring your death? Are you declaring that you're going to rise again? Sure, a lot of people just declaring it, but don't mean that it's really happening. Does the public really know you have prepared to work the ministry? Die and rise again for it. Have you told that to any of your friends? Do you know who you're walking with? You're walking with somebody that's bought out. I'm paid for. And I've had my baptism. I have made a covenant agreement on my death and my burial and my resurrection. I can't get involved with anything that's unclean. I can't touch it. I cannot be partakers of it. Hallelujah. Because I have already been bought with the price. He said he came to minister, not to be ministered to. Because he come to pay our ransom for what we are doing right now. He come to pay for that. Now, if he's paying for something, he's not wanting you to go back into it again, is he? Some people will kill you over bad judgment. The second thing is the temptation of the wilderness. That was Mark 4, 1 through 11, and Luke 4, 1 through 13. Seems clearly based on the assumption that Jesus has committed himself to the way of death and submitting to God's will. Satan impersonated the way of ministry, military power, of miracle working, and of compromising. Now suppose that Jesus would have lived like some of us do. Well, I went to the bar, Bishop, but I didn't drink nothing but a Coke. You should have had a beer or some whiskey.
Right.
If you went, you should have had beer, some whiskey, and some champagne or something. But don't mock God. I went to Beer Jordan, but I didn't drink nothing. You drink more than what you thought you drank. You drank spirits. Because where you went into a house of spirits. Hallelujah. And then you want to convince somebody, but you couldn't convince yourself not to go in there. He said that in his early Judean ministry, Jesus predicted his death and resurrection. But no one understood his sign at that time. That's in John 2, 17 and 22. No one can pick up like I be trying to give the saints a sign sometimes. Tell people know what I'm doing. And I be just. They'll get up and give me away. Excuse me, Chief, but was you talking to me? I said, forget it, just forget it. Might as well forget it. I'm told on me now. But Nicodemus in John 3:14 and 15, the disciples, nor Nicodemus did not know. But Jesus knew he was going to be lifted up on the cross for salvation. See, many times we see people, we see all of us that are here, we never know what our purpose really is. We never know which one of us is going to be hung up for our hang-up. We never know the one that God is preparing for the next death and resurrection. You don't never know. You just take it for granted that you're going to sit here again next Sunday. Hallelujah. I'm going to see Sister White next Sunday. I'm going to see Deacon Knox next Sunday. And it appears that Sunday never comes, because when that Sunday comes, we don't see them, and so it don't feel like Sunday anymore. Hallelujah. We got to know that we are prepared to live his death as well as die his death. You got to die out from this world. You got to die out from the nature of the world. Because that is not our nature. We are peculiar people. Our children are peculiar. They don't go to school to copy off of nobody. No, they don't. And we teach them before they leave church, before they leave home, that you don't go to school to copy off of nobody. You are a peculiar child. You're called out of God. You're precious in his sight. You don't say yes to the enemy. They got to know when to say yes. Hallelujah. In the synagogue, and Nazareth identified himself, he read Isaiah 61, 1 through 1 and 2. Jesus knew it was time for the Passover. He knew it was time. He said, for the lamb, and he didn't ask any lamb. It wasn't any lamb, like some of you put your hands up and say, you ready? No. He said, a lamb that has suffered. Suffered. Hallelujah. He said, in humility, without spot, blemish, wrinkle, or no such thing. At the cross, he fulfilled our being, the Passover lamb. Now, I gave you some history on what Jesus preached. That was his message. He preached about himself. And they didn't know he was preaching about himself. But he told them that his place for coming to earth was to pay the ransom of the sin that we had incurred. And he was a just God because he knew that we didn't know anything about the sin of our foreparents. So he said, I come to pay that ransom. I'm going to be just. I'm going to pay for all of it to be set free. And whom the Son sets free, he's free indeed. And so if we receive that, then why can't we give justice back to him? Why is it that we're so easily influenced by the world? Why is it that Jesus didn't live enough life, Daniel, to influence us? Don't you think he did a mighty good job to influence us? Hallelujah. Why is it that man want to believe that there ain't a God, but you are living? What makes you live if there ain't no God? How are you living? Where did you come from? What are you supposed to be doing while you're here? You're supposed to be ministers. Ministering to others about the culmination of God's death and resurrection. You're supposed to be getting people ready to die. I preached a message once. Being prepared, you got to be conditioned to meet God. And I don't hear those messages from nobody. Nobody, not even when I go out and sit at home watching it on the air. You don't hear that no more. People is busy asking for money, honey. And they already know that you're not going to get it. They already know that there are some people that's not believing, so they'll hook you over in the bunch with all the rest. They say, well, they're going to do what they want to do anyhow, so I may as well get my part. But I'm here to tell you today, trust in the Lord with all your heart. He said, don't lean to your own understanding, but in all of your ways, acknowledge Him. Acknowledge Him. You may not believe right now. You may not have said yes today, but you can say, help me, Lord, to say this. I need somebody to help me today. I need somebody to help me to understand my death and my burial and my resurrection. I need somebody, glory to God, that's going to walk with me and connect with me. I need somebody to hold my hand and say, together we stand, in the body we fall. But I'm going to stand to shout of God. I'm not going to allow the enemy to influence me. I'm going to stand with you, Pastor. I don't care what it costs me, but I'm going to stand with you. That's what God is looking for. People that's going to stand with their leader. People that's not easily carried away. People that don't yet have the world in their heart. But God is trying to work it out of your heart. Hallelujah. You need to know that you made heaven your home. If you made heaven your home, you'll walk like it. You will dress like it. You'll talk like it. Because you know that heaven is your home. And you know that you're not from the ghetto. You're not going to talk like you're from the ghetto either. Oh, no, you're not. Your conversation piece will change. Yeah, you ain't swinging that long finger no more. You ain't got your hands on your hip and letting your backbone slip. Glory to God, your posture has changed. You're walking upright. Glory to God, you're standing upright. You're talking right. And you're acting right. Because you are the righteousness of God. Hallelujah. When you become the righteousness of God, you do the thing that God wants you to do. Don't let the devil make you take back. Don't let him tell you that you're not worthy, because God had to make you worthy by him coming to minister and not to be ministered to. A minister that's prepared don't need no ministry. Don't let nobody fool you. But if you're always running about and pray for me, I know you ain't ready. You still have need to be ministered to. Glory to God. But when you can take it the way God gives it to you, don't break it. God gave Moses the 10 commandments. He broke them. He broke them. He couldn't take it. God had to make a second set. The same way he did with the man. He said when he touched it one time, how did you see me? He said, I see him as tree. He needs the second touch. Some of you today need the second touch. Hallelujah. I say you need the second touch. You'll learn what it means to be faithful. You'll learn that home comes first. You'll learn that you don't run nowhere else, but home comes first. You won't come in here and tell me after you've done it, because you know what God will tell you, depart from you. He said, I never knew you. I never knew you. Why are you calling me Lord? You didn't do the things that I told you to do. Don't you think that's just? Why are you calling me Lord? I mean, that's a beautiful question to ask. He said, because you didn't do what I told you to do. That's the way God means it today. He has not changed. He's the same God today, yesterday, and forevermore. I pray today that you will preach the gospel. He said, go ye therefore to all the world. He said, and preach the gospel. The gospel is concerning Jesus Christ. When you let him know what all he's done for them, how he died. Now that's something when you got a God that can make a body. Just a sucker for a little old lady. Glory to God. He suffered. Hallelujah. And then he took all the beatings that we couldn't take. We can't take nobody looking at us all. What you looking at? I said nothing. He saw that he needed a Savior. We was all like lost sheep gone astray. But God said, these are my people. Didn't have nobody claim us.
Glory,
He
hallelujah.
said, these are my people. They're the sheep of my pasture.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah.
Hey, yes, I want you to get it into you, the vision. That he stood up and declared his purpose when he went in that synagogue. Said, the Spirit of the Lord God is upon me. In other words, I'm the man. I'm the man. I'm the mighty man, because the Almighty got to come from the mighty man. He said, I come that the lame may walk.
Hallelujah.
He said, I come that the dumb are talking, the deaf ears will be unstopped. I come to set at liberty them that are in captivity. He said, that's what I come to do. He said, I don't come as a vacationer, but I come taking care of business. Hallelujah. I ain't worried about no vacation, saints, because that's not my purpose. God don't hold me there. My vacation is when I be caught up to meet him. Hallelujah. But when you are vacational and you worry about vacational and birthday parties, I'm not saying you can't have it. Don't go out here telling nobody I said that. I'm saying Mark the perfect man. If you didn't see him do it, then why are you doing it? Why do you have to do it? Why? When there's so much work to be done. There's a lot of work to be done. How many of you can look out on the harvest and see? Lord, hallelujah. Yes, the harvest is right. But the labors are few. Why do you think they're few? Because in the New Testament, they was telling the Lord all they wanted to do. They had not died out to God. When you die out to one person, that's the only person you want to be with. When you come up here and tell the preacher that you're going to make a covenant to be with Nat, that's all who you're supposed to be with. You ain't got no business getting lonely. But you made a covenant. You ain't got no business looking at nobody else and seeing how small their waist is. Amen. Because that which is flesh is flesh. But you married her spirit. You didn't marry how small she is, how big she is. You married her spirit. And that's the reason why a lot of marriages is in trouble. You too busy looking at the outward appearance. You're going to mess up looking at the outward appearance. How many of you know or believe that I'm telling you the truth? You're going to mess up looking at the outward appearance. But you married a person's spirit. Hallelujah. And you know that they are with you through thick and thin. You know they're just like Christ. They won't leave you, nor will they forsake you. Just like Christ. Is there anyone here today that want the Lord to help you to simply say yes? Are you here today?